Okay, so we were discussing in the previous videos with about the variation of CV with temperature, and we already told that we already discussed an expression for the concerning the behavior of CV or the specific heat at constant volume at high temperatures. And the expression which we used was CV by Nk is equal to 3 by 2 into 1.0 plus 0.0884 lambda cube by V plus etc. So that goes on. There are two things which we have to take, which we can infer from this expression. They were that at very high temperature, at very not simple high temperature but very high temperature, the since as it gets as a higher temperature, for higher temperature the lambda cube will get, the lambda will be getting smaller. That means this extra terms will get smaller and they gets negligible, and therefore at very high temperature CV is equal to 3 by 2 Nk. So that is one thing which we can infer from that expression. And another inference which we can take from that expression is that what is the kind of variation of CV for higher temperatures. So it will be as the temperature gets higher, it will vary almost like t raised to minus 3 by 2, because this is since the second term is the leading term than this one, it will be almost like t raised to minus 3 by 2. But it gets faster as the temperature gets higher. That's another point. So if we draw a graph, if we try to draw a graph between CV and T, there are a couple of points which we have to consider. We know that another thing which we already know about the relation between CV and T is that what happens at very low temperatures. Yeah, right? This was expression at high temperatures. But as temperature gets very low, that means T tends to 0 or T is very much equal to 0, then what will be the value of CV? The CV will be also tend to 0. Why? You know that. That's a very well known information. It basically happens because even at very low temperatures, every atom or every particles in the system will still have energy. But what happens at low temperatures is that the change of energy will be 0. Since CV is equal to du by dt, and the change of energy with respect to temperature is 0, we can write that CV is equal to, CV tends to 0 at very low temperatures. So when we are considering this kind of an expression between C and a plot between CV and T, we already know that there are two kinds of informations. One is that at very low temperatures, this graph should be somewhere over here, right? And if I take that this graph is having 3 by 2 Nk over here, at at very high temperatures, this plot should approach this 3 by 2 nk line in an asymptotic manner, right? Something like this. So I already know these kind of informations. This will initially fall down as t raised to minus 3 by 2, but as temperature gets higher, the rate of fall will get more and more. Yeah, it may not be right to write fully right, exactly in place to write directly proportional to t raised to minus 3 by 2. I wrote it because the second term must be the leading term. So therefore, when the depreciation happens, it has to happen almost like t raised to minus 3 by 2. Although the other terms will also make some significance. In any case, so these two things, this will be a depreciating graph almost like t raised to minus 3 by 2, and this graph will approach the 3 by 2 nk line in an asymptotic manner at very high temperatures are the two takeaways. This means that this is low here, this is very high point here. So there is, in any case, we are going to observe some kind of a cusp or a turnaround point at somewhere over here. But we don't know how this will reach from here to here. What is the kind of variation in the low temperature region? We don't have any information till now based on our expressions in a direct manner. In any case, we can assume that this transition can be assumed to happen at some kind of a critical temperature Tc. Okay. So that is all we know at the high temperature region, behavior of the CV and the other details of this. So now we have to fill out what is the kind of variation between at the variation of the CV with temperature at lower temperatures. So that is what we will do now. So how can we approach something like that? We will approach this kind of a plot indirectly through our expression for the pressure. We have already written the expression for pressure in this kind of ideal gas situations for the Bose-Einstein gases to be P by kT. P by kT is equal to 1 by lambda cube G of 3 by 2 Z. So this was the expression which we wrote. And we also know that the value of Z should always lie between 0 and 1. We have discussed those the details of that of those limits in one of the previous videos. So this is the limit. So at when we know that the highest value of Z is 1. At what condition the Z will have a value equal to 1? That will happen at lowest temperature. Z is equal to 1 at high temperature, right? Sorry. Z is equal to 1 at low temperatures. Why? Because Z is equal to e raised to mu by kT. So as the as the t gets lower, z gets higher. So the highest value of z is having the value z is equal to 1. So therefore z is equal to 1 at the lowest temperatures. So therefore at lowest temperatures I should have z is equal to 1. Now in this expression, originally this was equation number 11. So let me continue putting that equation number over there. So we have this g of 3 by 2 z in the expression for pressure, and we also know a general expression for g nu z. What was that expression? G nu z is equal to z plus z squared by 2 nu plus z cube by 3 nu plus etc. So that's equation 16 in our previous equation. So this was the expression which we know already about the g nu z, the Bose-Einstein function. Now if I put z is equal to 1 in the above expression, my expression will get modified as g nu 1 is equal to 1 plus 1 by 2 raised to nu plus 1 by 3 raised to nu plus etc. Right. Now this expression which we have wrote down over here is something similar to an already established function which is called the Riemann zeta function. So the equation number 22 is similar to Riemann zeta function. So what is Riemann zeta function? Zeta of k is equal to sum over n equal to 1 to infinity n raised to minus k. So this is the Riemann zeta function which can be expanded as 1 by 1 raised to k plus 1 by 2 raised to k plus 1 by 3 raised to k plus etc. So this is the Riemann zeta function. So see the similarity between this expression and this expression, which means that I can now write that when I have the z equal to 1, I can write the value of or express the Bose-Einstein function in terms of Riemann zeta function. The beauty of the Riemann zeta function is that the moment I know the value of k, I will have a numerical value very easily in front of our calculation procedure, which makes the things much more measurable, much more easier to manage with. So therefore, if I now write, so this was not g of 5 by 2. So if I now write the expression for g of 5 by 2, 1. So now I am going to express g of 5 by 2 z in terms of this for z is equal to 1. So which is equal to 1 plus 1 by 2 raised to 5 by 2 plus 1 by 3 raised to 5 by 2 plus etc. Which is actually equal to zeta of 5 by 2. Okay. Right. Now one thing which I know is that I can now modify it the P by KT at low temperatures, at the lowest temperature. I should be writing here as the lowest temperature, right? So Z is equal to 1 at the lowest temperature can be now be written as equal to 1 by lambda cube C tau 5 by 2, right? So if I calculate now the expression for CV based on that, I can write that CV is equal to du by dt and u is equal to what? 3 by 2 PV, and therefore I can write CV is equal to 3 by 2 into d by dt of PV. And if I, instead of, let's follow the Patrian's model, CV by NK. CV by NK is equal to d by dt in terms of temperature. PV by NK. And I have the expression for P by KT, right? Question number 25. So let me substitute that over there. 3 by 2 into, we will continue with the rest of the part in the next video.